Hi everybody, we're back in the studio again, and today we're going to be painting something for the holidays. We're going to have it's going to be a Christmas bauble on a tree, so hopefully you'll like this. I'm sorry I look like crap today. I'm still recovering from a really bad incident that I had with Crestor, and I ended up getting a really bad cold and cough. So I think I can talk for a while. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing, we're going to use, to start out, we're going to start out with this phthalo turquoise. It's a Winsor Newton. And I'm going to put that out on my palette. And then our next color, of course, our color, it's not really a color, is our white. And I'm just going to use basic white. And we're just going to get the background in. Now, I kind of drew on here and got the idea of what this is going to look like. But I'm probably going to have to do the drawing again. I might be able to work through this. I don't know. We'll see. And also some of my glazing liquid. I need to get that out on my palette because we're going to be doing some bokeh dots here. So I got some of that out on my palette. Now, just to go over a couple things. Now, how I do my bokehs are with these daubers. And these were Martha Stewart daubers. And I'm just going to use the small and the kind of next sizes up. There's actually some bigger sizes with this, but I'm going to use these three. Okay, so I'm going to start out with my number 12 bright brush. We're going to put straight, I'm going to just go straight in with my turquoise, my phthalo turquoise. Now this is going to be kind of dark, but that's okay because I want it a little dark up here. We're just going to put this on, work it into our canvas. Now my canvas is a 12 by 12, something a little different here. Just get that in there. Now I'm also going to use some of my green here, my oxide green, which is also Winsor Newton. I'm going to put that out on my palette too, because we're going to use some of that green in here. So today the weather's a little miserable here. I don't know how it is where you're at, but we've got snow. Get that green in there. Mix it up with a little bit of my phthalo. Kind of bringing it over here. Okay, get some of that in there. And yeah, this is going to be covered up a little bit, so we'll just cover it up. That's fine. Kind of get it really dark. But work on my ends also, my sides. This is a gallery wrapped canvas, and you can tell it's gallery wrapped when the staples are on the back here. That means that, like, if you decide to hang it, you don't see those staples, which is nice. Those sides also. Oh, my head's probably in the way. Now I'm going to move into my white, and this is going to be relatively light, and it's just going to be that pale light blue, just kind of coming up in here. Get some of those little, and all this in through here is going to be light. So I am going to probably have to retrace some of my, what I have on here. And as we get down right in through here, it's going to be real light. So I'm going to make this very light in here. You can see I'm kind of making crisscross strokes here. Yeah, this is almost like a white in through here, but now I got my picture off of Pixabay, or Pixabay. Just kind of smooth it out a little bit. I don't want it to okay, and it gets a little darker in through here some. Just a tad. I'm going to try to go around my little decoration here. Working with the sides here. And we're going to go with a little darker in through this area here. Maybe with a little bit of that green. Go into my white. Because I really want to light in through it. And then there's like a kind of a shadowy thing that's going on here. You know, I think I'm just going to go ahead and color this all in. And you'll know that when you do this painting, you're going to be tracing afterward. You'll get it traced on. Okay, I'm going to wipe this out. Get it a little bit darker in through here. I want it darker. I'm gonna rinse it out. And then I'm going to go in with my white again because I really want this to be very light in through here. Very light. Shadows. Okay. Okay, just smoothing it out. Kind of smoothing it. Make it a little lighter up and through here. So okay, go back into my darker blue. Rinse that out so I don't get that white in there. And I'm going to put some more light in here. Well, let me get this darker first here. Alright, now I'm going to go rinse that out and then get it a little bit lighter up and through here. Through here. sometimes if you do those little cross strokes, it kind of just feathers it in. And that's just what we want to do. We want to kind of feather it in. All right, now we got that all taken care of. Now we're going to go into our putting in our bokeh effects. So what I like to do is this has got to be a little lighter through here. So I'm going to go into that light blue mixture that I had, and actually I'm going to go into my glazing liquid first. Get my little sponge dauber wet with the glazing liquid, and then mix some blue, light blue onto my dauber, if you can see that. I'm going to get back into my glazing liquid. Okay, and now I'm just going to tap these in like that. That actually is too light. Let's go in and get some of that deeper blue. Okay, this might be better. Might be better. Okay. Now I'm going to just twist this a little bit. Okay, like that. So if you twist them, it kind of makes it a little nicer. Okay. One on here. Okay, let's go into the little smaller one. Going into that glazing liquid. Going into that mixture that I have. And maybe just a tad darker. Just a tad darker. I'll put some on this. Oh, that actually looks lighter, doesn't it? I need more glazing liquid on that. A little bit darker. Okay, put one here. A little light. Now we'll get some of those down and through here. Couple. And they get lighter as they go in through here. I'm going to add more white glazing liquid. Get these all through here. Now I'm going to get some of the bigger ones. Got to get some of that white mixture into that. Okay. I think that would work. Oh yeah. There's quite a bit of these little sparkly things throughout this. Kind of look just like little bubblies. Okay. Okay. Go. Okay. Very good. Now, we have to wait now till that all dries, and then we'll be back to finish up our painting. Well, I'm going to actually draw this in white now, get the white on there, and you know, like, so we can see what's going on. And this is going to be actually a bauble. There's one over here, there's a couple in through here, so we'll get those all taken care of next. And when all this is dry, we'll be back. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to make some glaze here to go over this, because I want this a little lighter that comes through here. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to just use the same brush that I was using yesterday, the number 12. I'm going into my white and just mix a little bit of the blue in there, and I'm going to use some of my glazing liquid just to glaze over this a little bit more. Really want more of the light in through here. And this is just glazing. And those bobble things will probably get hidden, but they might pop through actually. They might pop through. I'm going to go pick up some more of my glaze. Just kind of glaze this. It comes up in through here. And some of those little bubbles will just, those little bokeh pieces, as you can see, they're covered, but they're really kind of not either. Just want that nice and light through there. And you can see that that's kind of doing what I want it to do. Coming through and just coming up to this. Okay, now I'm going to go into my blue. Do the same thing, just mix a little bit of that, and I'm going to go over some of this in through here. Just kind of going over that glaze and kind of meeting up. And just feathering it in. I'm going to use some of my glaze just to kind of feather this in a little bit more, kind of meet with it. Because it's kind of light in through here. And then I'm going to actually have a little bauble there too, you know, like a Christmas decoration. So let's see here. Get more of that blue. More of my glaze. Just kind of go over it very lightly. Blend it. There's some of that bluish color through here a little bit. Get my white. It's a little too white. Just want that to be glazed. Now I'm just going lightly with my brush, just very lightly. Very lightly. Pick up more of my blue. So when you're glazing, you just use that glazing liquid, and you're kind of just mixing that up with plain old glaze, and it just goes over all that, and it's kind of light. It goes through, and then those little things come showing through, and they're not as heavy duty looking, you know, because you don't want it to look real dark. Now I'm going to pick up some of my green and do the same thing. get some of that glazing liquid and do like a glaze with it. Some of that, well, let's make some of that green blue. Like a nice greenish blue here. And it's pushing the little bokehs in back. We want it pushed back a little bit. In through here, it's going to have some, that blue, it's going to be a little darker through here. Because I'm going to be having a Christmas tree in there. Or branches at least, you know. So, what I want to do now is get this rinsed out. And right here, I'm going to put a little bit of an ornament. So I'm going to get my blue, some of my glazing liquid, and I'm just going to put a little bit of a ornament right here. Did you see how I did that? Okay, so I start at a clock, just like a clock. I go clockwise. And to finish it, I can go counterclockwise. But that sort of makes a nice round circle. And you don't have to go crazy with it. Now I'm just putting that one in because that's going to be another thing that's going to get glazed over. Because what we want is this to be in the background. So let me just get that nicely done here. And we're just going to go clockwise, counterclockwise, to make our circle. Very nice, see? So we got that in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be pushing that back with some glaze, but right for now, that's the way I want that to look. Alright, so I'm seeing some issues here that I want to cover with more of my glazing liquid here. Some white and glazing liquid. Just kind of work it up, work it through. And maybe what I need is a nice soft brush here. Let's see. This one is a number, 16. And I'm just going to kind of, because I don't want those brush strokes in here. So just going to brush them through, or just kind of blend it with this brush here. Just blending it. And actually some of this comes up here a little bit more. So now that I got that little blob of it. Then once this dries, I am going to put the drawing in. Put that there. That's going to get glazed over anyways. What I'm going to do is just go back into my lighter blue, or my blue glaze with my turquoise. And just go over this one more time, because now that it's nice and blue, I can just go right over it. Now I'm going to stick some of those a little, I'm going to have more come out a little bit more distinctly. But right now, just getting those in, and I'm going to do some of those more distinct looking. Just getting some of those brush marks out of there. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I'm getting my sponge applicator. And I'm going into some of my light blue mixture. And actually, I'm going to go with this a little darker. Let's see what happens here. There we go. Get some of these in there. Okay. Some pale blue. Pale blue ones. More glazing liquid, it looks like. Just kind of going over some of these ones. I'll see that's a little too light here. We're gonna just go over some with this then. There we go. Is some through here that we're going to be putting in, so we're just going to go there. Some off of the page, off of the canvas. These are all little bokeh lights. Okay, so just rinse that out. Now there's really none that you see through here, just a couple. So just get some light ones here. Very light. Bring a couple out here. Not too many we're going to bring out of this one. Actually, I like the way that they are. I don't want to mess them up, but just a few, just a few. Okay. All right, there we go. I think that will work. I like the way they are. And we can just get our brush. Make sure it's kind of dry and just kind of go over this a little bit just to smooth them out some. Actually use your finger even just to smooth it out a little bit. Alright, now we're going to wait for this to dry. Wait for these to dry a little bit. And then I'm going to push this one back with some glazing liquid, and we'll be back once this dries. And then we're gonna I'm gonna actually get the tracing on there for our next step. Okay, so I've got this traced on now. I want to put a few darker shades in the back here because they are actually some balls back here. So I'm going to do that. And I'm just going to use my phthalo blue just like I did here. And we're going to actually do some covering up on that too. So these things have to dry a little bit, but we're going to like glaze over it. I want to make sure that you get that glaze in. So right in here, there's like a bulb. So we'll just kind of do something like that. Actually, it could come up here. Don't need all that. And just kind of fill it in a little bit. And there is another one right behind here. And golly. I think we're just going to let it go. This here, we're just going to kind of just tap it in. It's not a big deal here. We just want that little bit of shadow. We're going to add a little white to this. And right in here, there's a highlight. So we're just going to put that in there, just a little highlight. Then we're going to go over this with a glaze. Now this ball, I'm going to actually paint this in now. I'm going to start with my dark shade and get that all in there. Just the outer part of it. And it gets a little lighter in there, so I'm going to get that light section in. Because it's trying to make us think that this is actually rounded. I'm going to get back to my dark. That rounded. You can see I'm holding my brush, oops, very close. So let me wipe that off. That kind of went out of the line a bit. I want to get that before it dries. There we go. Put your finger down onto the canvas. This way, you kind of get a better circle. Nothing like touching it with your fingers and then pulling it out. So let me get that off of there. Alright, so I got the inner part here. Okay. Some light. Now there's a little bit more light here, so I'm going to get that in there also. So I'm just going to add white, and the blue paint will kind of help it. Now we'll just blend it a bit. I want to get this part right here. It has to be a bit darker, so I want that darker. Okay. Now we'll blend that a little bit with a nice soft brush. I'm going to just use my number 12 here just to blend it in. We'll probably just make that a little lighter as we go. Right in the middle there once it dries a little bit. I have my nice stiff brush here. Okay, so I'm going to get some glazing liquid out on my palette. Need some of that. Whoa. I might have poured too much. Sometimes that just comes out so fast. Alright, and I am going to create a glaze to go over this. So I want like a nice powdery glaze. So I'm going to just mix some of my light blue, or my phthalo blue, with some white, and mix my glazing liquid on it. And let's see what happens here. That might be a little too light. A little too light. Just want to be able to push that back in the background. Same here. Push them back in the background because they are in the background. And just kind of like rinse that out a little bit and just kind of go over these edges here. Kind of blend that into the background too. When that dries, it'll kind of get a little darker too, so I just want that to be like that. Now for that actually to be in the back, I have to get a little bit of brown for it too, because I'm going to use my burnt umber because it's hanging and we're going to need that. So I'm just going to put a little of my burnt umber Galleria. Burnt umber. And just make a little hanging piece there that would be definitely on this ball. And then we'll put that towards the background too. It just might actually kind of fall towards that. It kind of already looks a little pushed back. We're going to make it a little less visible because once that dries a little bit, I'll be able to do that. Okay, so next shades that we're going to be using, I'm going to get my Cad Yellow medium out. We're going to do some of these couple balls here. They're going to be using some browns and greens to mix it. So I'm just going to get my yellow out. And, whoops, lost my picture here. I have to be able to look at what I'm doing. So I have an idea. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to start with this little ball right here. I'm going to start out, I'm going to rinse this out with kind of a pale yellow right to put in some of these areas here. Well, actually, I'm going to go with some yellow. Just make the whole ball right here. We have to be very careful, and I may have to mix this with some white only because it's going to look green on that background. So let me get a little white with that, because we can always go over things. And to make this a little bit more of a perfect circle, I'm going to do this little trick that I showed you. Like that, because I want it to be perfectly round. Okay. And the top part is also yellow, so I'm going to get a little bit of my white and yellow. So this little piece in here is actually a little white also. I mean yellow also. Okay. And the bottom part of that is our burnt umber. So we're just going to go like this. We're going to wait for this to dry a little bit because it's giving me a little issue because it doesn't want to work too well. I'm going to paint this in with some white. That's going to actually come in front of that. So because of the green background, the turquoise background, I should paint this a little bit in, so that when I do put my yellow on, it'll look decent. And it won't turn green like that. So I'm going to actually, I think, put some of that in here too. Because I don't want it to be green. I want it to be yellow. And you can use white paint, titanium white, or you can actually use some, if you want to, you can use gesso. Whatever, you know, suits you. Just taking that extra off here. Okay. I think that's dry enough. I'm going to just go over it. On the edge here. Let that dry. Now we might actually do this video in 2 parts because of the detail that I'm going to be doing in a lot of this here. There is a lot of detail in this. And let me get this brush here. I seem to be having an issue with getting this on here. There we go with them brushes. My brushes need new ones. I think I need new brushes. Okay. Now the harder parts up into here. I think what I want to do, let me see. We're going to have several shades here. Some of these lights have blue and some are yellow lights. So the yellow lights, I'm going to put in the centers that are bright white. And let's see here. Let's see if this one is a better brush. This one is a number 2. I think it's a flat. So my brushes are just falling apart at the edges, and I don't know. I should use maybe, let's see. Maybe I'll use this round brush. We'll see how that works. So I'm going to mix up my yellow and white. And these are almost white in the centers of these. So we're going to put one right here. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to use my little round here. Okay. And this one is also kind of light. I'm going to smudge that a little bit on the edges with my fingers. Just smudge it. Oh boy. I'm getting some beeps on my phone. Alright, and this one is also a yellow. So we're just making our little placeholders here. We know that that's light. We know that's white. I'm going to rinse that out. Alright, now I'm going to go to the few blue ones that we have in here. I'm going to rinse out my round brush and make that pale blue, which I already have some of that made, and just go in a little bit more white into these here. Alright, and here's one over here. So we've got that one and this one right here. Okay. Now these get outlined in a light shade. So the yellow ones are going to be light, and the blue ones are going to be a light blue outline. So I'm going to still use my round brush with some glazing liquid. And I'm going to outline these lighter ones. You have to have a steady hand, so I'm putting my little finger down on the canvas. Okay. Okay. Make sure you get a really nice point and a light touch, light touch. Okay, light touch. Very good. Okay, now we'll do the yellow ones. So we'll do the yellow, and we should be good. Okay. Same thing. Get some of the glazing liquid into that yellow, white light shade. I'm going to need some more white out on my canvas here, my palette. So I'll get that out. Of course, I'm using the Academy, Grumbacher Academy. Get some white. Okay. I'm going to go in here a little bit lighter with this. A little lighter here too. I want that pretty white. Alright. Get this a little lighter. There we go. All right, now we've got our ball here. We're going to yellow it up. Make it yellow. And I'm just using that round brush. I'm just getting it in there. And I'm going into my brown now. I wiped my brush off. I didn't wash it or any of that. And we're going to go into here with that. Just kind of get that a little bit brown. And we're going to do a little bit of the yellow on top of it. Okay. Get some yellow because I'm just going straight with yellow with this. The straight yellow. Wait until this dries a little bit. Okay, and it's getting there. It's getting there. And there's this little hook, you know that all Christmas decorations have that little hook. Okay, I'm going to put a little dot right here. This gets a little bit lighter. This is definitely bright here. It almost looks like a little face in here. And right in here, oops, it's almost, we don't want it like that. It's just a little light glisten in there. I want to mix a little bit of that brown with some yellow. So I can get that a little bit darker in here. All right, so we have that one in. Now this is going to be the tough one here. I am going in the middle with some light yellow. This is actually a lot of shades in here. But I'm first going to put this yellow in. And I'm rounding it a bit. I'm rounding it a bit. And what I actually may do here, I am going to get my pencil. Let's see if I can find a little watercolor pencil or something here. Yeah. I'm going to go with my watercolor pencil because I really want to draw these little things in. Only because I don't want to mess this up. I don't even know if it'll show up here. We'll see. And then there's this one here. Okay. We have that. Now this comes over, so I have to get it kind of like that. And because this has like many sides to it, this one. came down here. We came down with this one. Then we have this one, and we have this one. Okay. So there's many shades of different shades in here. So we're going to start out with that yellow shade that we made with the brown. And I'm going to add a little bit of my green in there. It's going to be sort of like a greenish color. A green brown. Let's see if I can mix it and get it the shade I want. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this one right here is that shade. Right there. We have, this is one of that one like that too. We have this one also. That sort of touches this one here, so I want to make sure that gets touched right there. And this one just seems a little darker, so I'm going to put a little bit more brown in it. This one might be a little bit more dark. Same here. Okay, I'm going to wipe my brush off, going into that greenish brown. Okay, and it's kind of lighting through here, so I'm going to go into that greenish brown right here. And it gets a little bit darker, but not a lot darker right here. Okay, this shade here is very dark, so I'm going to get that darker. Okay. And the one right next to it is lighter, so we'll just go into that light green shade, the greenish brown shade. When you're mixing, it gets a little crazy, doesn't it? Greenish brown, it kind of looks this way. Almost, it reminds me of a khaki color. Okay. This one that was really darker over here, get some of that brown in there. Needs to be a little bit. There we go. Alright, right here we've got sort of like a mustardy shade. This here a little better. Okay, this one is a little lighter also. It's more like a, get a little white in there, see if that'll brighten it up a little bit. Yes, that's good. And it's dark underneath here. So go into the dark. All right. Right here is the brightest spot on there, so I am going to add white and yellow, and we're going to make this right here. I used watercolor pencil because I know that that will just disintegrate with this, and it just looks better. This one is pure yellow. Pure yellow. Right here is pure yellow. Some of this is yellow, pure yellow, but we also have that light shade going into that, so I want to have that. Goes out into that because it's just kind of like vibrating off of it. This here, this looks like it's a little bit more brownish yellow. Brownish yellow. Right here. And a little bit here. Making it a little bit more intense here. Okay. Make that a little bit whiter. This will probably be the hardest thing we do on this painting. Okay, a little bit more of that brown green here. This needs to be darker. It's just slightly little variations that make it what it is, and you have to just try to get that variation there. Some of that light is coming into this, so it's just like right where the light is hitting that. And that's a real dark yellow, so we'll get that darker right in here. Oops. Well, it should be like a mustardy shade, really. Dark also. All right, so now we're going to put the little topper on. I'm going to mix some yellow and white. Get this topper part on. roll that into my glazing liquid. Put a little thing on it. Okay. Now, it's a little darker on this one side, so we're going to do that. Darker here. And then right in the middle of that, it's kind of the brown. And then we got the glare from the bubble itself. Okay. All right, let's see. We got like a little bitty line that separates it. There. And I'm going to use a little white, just a tad. Just kind of give it a little glisten. Add a little bit more white to right in here because I really want that bright. Right. Okay. So we know that that bulb actually has those different corners to it. Okay, let's move on to this one again. Before I do that, I do want to get some of that light pale shade here because kind of like was a light, I think it was more of a white glaze that I put on top of that, and I just want to glaze that up a bit right in through here. Kind of just go over it a bit. Glaze over this little ball here. Push it back some more. Same with this one. My tree's going to be coming down into this, so it needs to be a little darker in there, but I'm choosing not to put any balls in there. Just kind of like glazing over this. Alright, now I'm going to just soften it up a bit. Alright, we have, I'm going to get some Payne's Gray onto my palette because we've got some balls that we got to make some Payne's Gray. Let's see. So I'm using my Payne's Gray golden color here. And I'm going to just fill in some of those little balls that are there so that we have an idea that those are there, and we want to put our placeholder there. So let's see here. I need my little brush, and I don't know where I put that little brush. There it is. I'm going to rinse that out. So we're going to start out with Payne's Gray on this, and I'm going to just use it straight. Make little circles. Payne's Gray. And I'm using my number 4 round. liking the way they're coming out here, so let me see. I'm going to use the back of my brush just to get those nice circles. There we go. Get one here. It's a good way of making a nice circle with the back of your brush if your bristles are too big. So we at least get a decent little look. Okay. They just turn out so much better. That one a little bit bigger than the other ones, but that's okay. And there's one that goes right about here. Okay. Now we have these larger ones, because that's coming down this way. If I have if I can do this with a flat brush. Well, that's not too good. Okay, I think we'll just have to keep using the round one. I'm going to use a larger one though. I'm going to get a larger brush for these ones. It's a number. It's a round Creative Mark number 8. Still not to my liking. Not to my liking. Do it this way. Let's use the back of the brush. It's okay if you don't get it all the way in, because it's going to be painted over somewhat anyway, so the centers is just as long as we have it placed that we know it's there. That's what we want to do. Let me see if I can see it. I don't think I can. Kind of. A couple here. Just using the back of my brush. I'm actually using the wooden part to kind of draw these in. Alrighty, so we'll finish this up as part 2. I think we have a pretty good handle on what we're doing here. And until next time, let's see if we can move this in just so you can see what's going on there. So it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's a tough little painting, and you probably will need to take your time with this and you know, work at it. It's not going to be something that you can do and just say, oh, it's done, you know. These might be too big. I guess that's too big. But we've got basically most of it on here. It's just now we have to do the tree. We're going to have to do that. There's a lot of dimension in that tree. But it's a very nice little holiday painting. I think you'll enjoy it. Okay. And I'm real happy with the way this turned out. I mean, that really looks nice. It's dimensional looking. It looks great. So, until next time, we'll see you then. Okay.